Hello guys, and we are entering an extremely dynamic and interesting stage of the collapse of the Russian Federation. And traditionally for the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, it all starts from the economy. The situation with the Russian economy is so bad that they started hiding official numbers openly, and it's not difficult to guess that during the last 3 days the Russian National Statistics Bureau webpage is not working because more and more people are trying to check what is happening. And what is happening? They need to print more rubles because, according to the Ukrainian hackers who managed to get some internal communication from the Central Bank of Russia, they are preparing to print the equivalent of $192 billion in rubles. And that is such a red flag for inflation, stagnation, and collapse that I don't even need to explain. These updates demonstrate that the Kremlin has exhausted all of its resources, and now is the time to defeat and demilitarize Russia. You all know that is the only working peace plan. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin, witness the dissolution of this evil empire, subscribe. I'm sure we will discuss all of that in detail sometime really soon. Because as smart people say, the dissolutions of such evil, monstrous constructs as the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, and now the Russian Federation can seem really long, and then everything collapses quickly because an important trigger works, and Russian economy is one of such triggers. We witnessed that in the end of 80s, the beginning of 90s. So right now, lots of Russians are very concerned that for the third day in a row, the webpage, the official webpage of the Russian Statistics Bureau is not working. That is a resource where you can see all the numbers, and their journalists, their experts, ordinary people get the information from it. Even if it was under attack, we all know it's not for 3 days. And there are a lot of substitutes, such institutions, they never fall out for 3 or more days. So even inside Russia, they speak openly. That is the way to hide the truth. Nabiullina, the head of the central bank, the minister of the economy of Russia, they tried to tell the truth on this very miserable, incomparable to what it once was, economic forum in St. Petersburg, where no serious businesses showed up, but there was a delegation of Taliban. And guys, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking, that was the reality. And we clearly see this fast degradation of the Kremlin, its international relations, and its economy. It was obvious that they have serious problems with cash, with people's deposits. They started limiting a lot of things, and inside Russia, lots of newspapers are speaking about the debt that people make if they want to pay for their, this household things like electricity, gas, water. This is not something tremendously expensive. So imagine the level of a person if he or she needs to go in serious debts just to be able to pay out. Also, Russians stopped paying debts. And I mean those little household debts that when you buy something at the shop and you don't want to pay it once. They literally have billions of debts, and this all undermines the already very, how do you describe something worse than weak Russian economy. Putin overestimated Russian economy, he underestimated Ukraine, and of course the design of this war was meant for 3 days, well maybe 3 weeks, but not 3.5 years, with this very, very strong Ukrainian attitude. And even Russian military vloggers started talking about that Ukraine is way stronger than they expected, and now is the time to give up, surrender, Putin. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, and please share these videos to keep people informed. Also, and this information needs to be checked, but there are photos and there are documents that the Ukrainian hackers might have been able to retrieve from the emails of the Russian central bank, where they communicate with these companies, that are responsible for printing money. And Nabiullina secretly orders the printing of a huge sum of rubles. We all know that ruble is ruble, and I love asking, this very irrational supporters of Putin's regime if they keep their money in dollars or if they keep their money in euros or they prefer rubles. And if they are so confident in the strength and invincibility of Russia, why don't they keep all of their assets, all of their money in rubles? They typically leave the conversation and don't have an answer for that. By the way, recently I've enjoyed how some Russia supporters started checking my information on X. Follow me there, the link in the description, same as link to Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Discord. So they asked Grok, for example, this very interesting information about the Russian headquarters demilitarized in Kursk region with lots of Russian generals, and I love reading their reaction when even that Grok says, yes, the whole Russian headquarters were wiped out. So I hope we will get a similar confirmation, because in that letters exposed by the Ukrainian hackers, they want to order something that is an equivalent of $192 billion. This is insane, and this is approximately 36% of Russia's spending, like in their budget pre-planned. So you can imagine 1/3 or something like that. And I started examining the information, thinking maybe it's typical for Russia, that's a very unusual country. Maybe that's something they often do. No, usually they print the equivalent of 5-6 billion a year, but here we have 192. So can you imagine the depth of the abyss, if it's that the right word, in which Putin and co. and those millions of his supporters brought Russian economy? Instead of developing the already largest country in the world, very unnaturally large country in the world, they've decided to invest in these instruments of war and violence, killing innocent people and achieving nothing, only making Ukraine more confident, more united, and more militarized. Because let's be realistic, Ukraine is uncomparable in its military strength to what we were in 2014. And actually, I love how President Zelensky knows how to play with Donald Trump, and now we are preparing a super huge mega deal about drones. So we will provide you with drones and you will provide us with air defense, for example, because when Keith Kellogg leaves Kyiv, I'm sure attacks will resume. Another proof that the United States can do a lot for the safety and security of Ukrainian people and the world. They don't target Kyiv when Keith Kellogg is here. So, and also, I'm actually happy if we will exchange our drone skills with you, with the people of the United States. Once again, Trump is temporary, and our safety and security, I'm sure, belongs to one dimension. We will never be against each other, because Ukraine belongs to this free world, and Russia, China belongs to this classical authoritarian regimes that don't value human life. And recently I've read one joke that I like, and perhaps we will finish this video with it. Like, imagine that the war expands to Europe, to North America. In what country would you like to, go through this difficult period, survive this period? What country in the world would you choose? Ukraine. At least they have a good army. Thumbs up if you agree with me, and please share these videos, and also subscribe to my new channel, Anna Danilchuk. Soon 15,000 friends will be there, and there are some videos that attract your attention, and I'm super grateful for that. Also, let me know in the comments below what are the other topics you would like to discuss, and how do you think how one is left for the Russian economy? Give me your forecasts in the comments. I will be happy to read them. And remember, I love you and I'm very grateful that we have our amazing community of friends of Ukraine and friends of mine. That is very precious and very important for me. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Check our merch shop, the link in that description, for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And united we stand. Slava Ukraini!